I'm sure many of you know what Undertale is. I mean, who doesn't? One of, if not, the biggest hits in indie game history. Undertale had so much that made it so loved by so many people. Memorable characters, a great story, endless replayability, and so many outcomes. And Undertale got a sequel, one that, sadly, and in my own opinion, did not live up to its predecessor. This video is not about it. Rather, this video is going to be talking about a little game some of you might not have ever heard of. I'm here to talk to you about one of the biggest underrated gems in indie video game history. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you OneShot. This game is without question one of the biggest games that hit me in the heart so hard that I actually ended up tearing up and almost cried at the end of my playthrough. Well, second playthrough to be more accurate. But we'll have to talk more about that later on in the video. I will try my best to make sure this video is spoiler free as possible for the most part. However, I will talk a little bit about Solace, just a little. But keep that part short and spoiler free, as it was the part of the game that moved my heart so much at the end. But I will be honest, I highly suggest that anyone who's watching this video play the game first, then come back. This is your only warning. When we get to spoiler territory, I will put a spoiler warning up so you won't have to worry about being spoiled, and I will also leave a timestamp for you to skip to. I also want to say that OneShot does not have any voice acting, so I will be using the dubbed version from the wonderful Celochita, whose channel and video of OneShot will be in the link in the description below. She does a masterful job of making these lovable characters more real. And while I am using my own footage I am using for the background that was taken off my live stream, my dubbing is, well... Oh, the door. I knew we'd lose our home eventually, but I wasn't expecting it to happen so soon. Yeah. So then, without further ado, what is OneShot? OneShot was made by Eliza Velasquez and Night Margarine and Michael Shirk. OneShot is a puzzle adventure game developed by the indie studio FutureCap. Made in 2014, it was released on Windows on December 8th, 2016, and is rated a 10 out of 10 on Steam reviews. OneShot follows the main character, Nico, on her quest to save a dying world that has lost its son. She is the Messiah, and you, yes you, behind the Dorito-laced screen, are the god of this world. You will guide Nico through this world, and your mission is to try to get Nico home. The sun in this world is an oversized light bulb, don't question it, that needs to be brought to the top of a tower and placed in order to save the world. This light bulb Nico carries around for the majority of the game. A very simple story, yes. You will meet characters and help them out as you move around three main areas. The Barrens, which is the start of the game and you will only find robots.
Hey, Nico? Do a robot voice.
What?
Try talking like a robot.
Beep boop. I am a robot, and I eat batteries instead of normal people food.
That is not correct. Robots do not consume batteries in the same way people consume food. In fact, robots do not possess digestive systems. Some robots do not even have mouths.
Later, made me look silly.
Glean, where you will find bird people and rams, and I think has the best theme of the game, being a forest at one point but now turning into a swamp due to the world falling apart. And last is the refuge, which is the city and where the last stepping stones of your journey will end. Now while OneShot story is very simple along with its plot, The game itself is anything but. As no less than a minute into the game, it has already broken the fourth wall, with the computer talking to what we would guess would be Nico. But then it says this. Hello. And most importantly... Oh! What the hell? Okay. I don't know. Okay, so no one can, you can't see this. So on your guys' screen you can't see this. But I just got like a notification pop up on my computer, my actual desktop computer, and it just says you only have OneShot Raptor. That, oh, can I click it? I can normally. That is so cool. You can't see it, chat, but I can. This is when OneShot tells you off the bat. This is no normal puzzle adventure game. While you play the game and the deeper you go, the more fourth wall breaks happen. One such thing is when the player meets a robot called ProfitBot and tells Nico that you and your name are the god of this world, and Nico and the player can talk to each other. This is one thing that the game does that I think makes the player feel so close to not just the world, but Nico. While yet you control Nico, you are not actually Nico. You can imprint on her, sure, but the player is just the player in this world. You are the god. I think this is a ingenious move on the part of the creators, because in doing so, I feel like the player cares more about Nico and starts to see them as not a video game character, but someone brought into this world and is a real living person, which even the game itself leaned towards. Gameplay is simple and is close to how Undertale is played. You walk around and talk to characters, solve puzzles, find secrets and Easter eggs. OneShot has no combat system though, and frankly it doesn't need it, as simply put, there's nothing to fight. Most gameplay is Nico walking around interacting with the world around her and solving puzzles to help her move on to new areas. However, OneShot does something a little different with its puzzles than most games of the same genre. Only a handful of games come to mind on doing this, but in the very first minute of the game, it is clear to the player the game can and will talk to you directly through the computer. And some puzzles involve you going to different parts of your own computer and going to your documents or My Games to help solve the puzzle you are on. This to me is so cool. And the first time I ever experienced something like this, to be honest, it freaked me out a little bit. But why does the game do this? I don't really want to reveal too much. You should really play the game for yourself to find the right answer. But the puzzles are really interesting and fun to do. Even when they break the fourth wall, it works in the overall story of OneShot. Like, for example, in this scene, you'll find this safe on the cliffs in the Barrens. But no matter where you go, you can never find a code until you turn the power back on in the Barrens. This computer will then turn on. This is the same computer as you saw in the start of the game. One that seems to not really be happy with you wanting to save this world. As to it, there's nothing to really save. However, it knows you need the code and tells you a hint like you know where to find it. Sure enough, on your own computer, if you look in Documents, this letter was placed in it and it is all glitched out. You can only make up a few things, but the code is right there. Once you go back to the safe at the cliffs, you punch in the code and BAM! It's open. You will get a gas mask so you can move on to another area in the Barrens that have these gas vent things. I'm actually really not sure what they are, but I think they're just gas vents. But you also get this book, which as of right now is completely useless. For now, that is. This puzzle to me is what really got me invested into the game's gameplay. To me, this was a unique and fun way the game interacts with the player. The game does this a lot. Almost every new area you go to, the computer will be there, and you'll need to solve or have to find an answer to a puzzle you would otherwise not be able to solve. But as for the puzzles in the game itself, they are really fun and rewarding to solve, and you can find elements around the world that you would not even think much of, only to come back later and find it helps you solve a puzzle. Like in this part of the game where Nico is in Glean and needs to write her name in order to walk past the guard, but has no pen. So you go around and look for ink, or something to write with, like a pen. After walking around a little bit, you'll find Magpie, who reminds me a lot of the merchant from RE4, Resident Evil 4, for whatever reason. I have no idea, but I could 100% see this guy having his voice. He shows you a bunch of just junk, to be honest. Treasuring things such as broken glass, shells, bottles, and some cloth dye, which he offers us for some wool. But if you don't take up his offer and push a little more, he throws in a free t-shirt. Then you can take the offer. Does the t-shirt do anything? Nope. Not that I'm aware of, at least. Maybe someone in the comments knows, but as far as I am aware, it does absolutely nothing. You just have it for the rest of the game. Small things like this give this game charm. How can you have only a few lines of text and on a single character and know almost everything about them in just one or two interactions? And like that, you automatically have me more drawn into the story. I have no idea how the game does this. Speaking of interactions, let's talk about the other side of the gameplay, talking to the people of this world. While again, I don't want to go too deep into this as I don't want to spoil anything, I will only briefly talk about the characters Nico and you meet on your journey. And to be honest, there are not any particular order or, any of importance, for example. Even though if they are important, I'm not going to tell you who's important. First is Prophetbot. Prophetbot is the first person you meet in the game. He is the only working robot other than the other one that can be found in the Barrens in the Overlook. That is until you get the power back up and running. He is the one who kind of tells Nico about the world, tells Nico is the Messiah and that she can talk to God, being you. In Glean, Nico and you find the bird siblings. Calamus is one of the two children residing in the ruins, the other one being his younger sister, Aluna. Calamus asks you to help him find his sister, and once Nico does, they thank you and bring Nico into their home. Calamus seems to be the one taking care of his sister and seems to be the more understanding and more serious of the bunch. Not to like a cold, jerky way, but more of a caring for family, and even shocked when he learns Nico is the Messiah, and even thinks it's rude to call her by her name. While Luna is very young and much more childlike, even more than Nico is, I think, or maybe on the same level as Nico. She is just adorable in how she acts and is very innocent all the time. The last one I want to talk about is this guy. He's never given a name other than the Lamplighter. This guy is the embodiment of a workaholic, because that's all he ever talks about or thinks about. He is found at the start when Nico makes it to the city. He needs to get down to the ground level so he can get to work. But the elevator button is missing, so Nico needs to go around and try to make one. I know this is very brief on characters I picked, but trust me, there is so much more to them and Nico that I want to talk about, but I will not, as again, you should get the game for yourself and play it. However, I do feel like it's wrong of me not to talk about one single scene. This scene to me is just one of absolute many that really bring me into the world, and I really don't know how any other way to say it other than it really does hit the player pretty hard once you kind of understand it, and the overall feeling of it is so damn heavy. Now then, with that being said, this is the part of the video that's going to be a massive spoiler for someone's first time playing through the game. I will also talk just a little about Solace. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go to this time skip right now. Now then, if you're still here, let's talk about the one scene in OneShot that really hit me in the heart. The pancake scene. After making our way to the city and fixing the elevator, you can bring Nico to the cafe on the upper levels and talk to the cook. This is when the tone of the game changes a little bit for this part. See, I want to take this moment to remind everyone watching that OneShot does something masterful with how it tells its story. Yes, OneShot is a game. Everything you see is just pixels and code, and the game itself knows this. But when it comes to Nico, who has just been thrown into this world and chosen to save it. During her travels, Nico talks to other people of this world, and she is getting mixed messages. Her mission is to bring the sun to the top of the tower to help save the world. But when you talk to some people, some say that the world is not worth saving. Even the computer itself says this at the start of the game. Why bother trying to save the world? It won't do anything. Yet, you still want to try. This quote from the computer kind of sticks with you from the beginning of the game, and only when you go through the game will it really stay with you. Throughout everything, Nico and therefore the player get more connected to the world the more you explore and talk to the inhabitants of it. And at this point in the game, we are not aware of the choice that can be made at the end of the game. It makes this scene so much harder. It's a form of foreshadowing in a way. You see, put yourself in Nico's shoes for a moment. You wake up in a dark house, then find a light bulb. As you leave and find yourself in this new world and learn that you are to save it, it can make you have maybe mixed feelings on things. After all, saving the world is a lot on someone's shoulders, especially if they were just a kid like Nico. Yet, as you go around the world and hear what people say, some say that even if you put the sun back, it won't fix anything. Then, it kind of makes Nico start to think, why is she even here? If putting the sun back and it does nothing, and Nico, while she wants to save the world, she also just wants to go home. What happens when you're forced into a situation that you can't fix, that you can't control, and there's no easy solution? And while this world is nice, you keep being told that your actions might not even do anything to save it. And this is where the pancake scene comes in.
Oh hey, you're back. Did you manage to fix the elevator?
Claire and I went to the surface already, and... well, I remember there being a cafe here. Do you have pancakes?
We sure do.
Wait, I don't have any money. Maybe I can help you wash dishes or something.
No, it's on the house. The least I could do for the savior, right? Here, why don't you take a seat? I'll go fry some up for you.
Pancakes. These pancakes are so good! Thank you so much!
No problem. You looked really hungry.
Yeah, I thought this would be my last chance to eat something before I go in the tower.
Ah, gotcha. So, I guess pancakes are your favorite food?
Oh, well, almost. My favorite food in the world are the special pancakes that my mama makes. She likes to pick hazelnuts and grind them up into the batter.
Oh wow, that sounds amazing.
They taste amazing! She always made them when I was feeling sad, or lonely, or... Mama, I really miss her. I just have a pet feeling all of a sudden. Am I even here to save the world? People have been
Oh, there. It's gonna be okay. And I'm sure you'll be able to save the world. You're a tough kid. You managed to get this far already, right?
Yeah, but...
And you'll get to go home afterwards, right?
right?
Hey, want some more pancakes?
It's okay. I'll be fine.
So, yeah. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for listening. And for the pancakes.
No problem. Good luck.
The music changes the tone a full 180 degrees at this point. And that line, I just have a bad feeling all of a sudden. This line foreshadows the end of the game of someone's normal playthrough when they reach the top of the tower. When you are almost at the end of the game, even during your playthrough, you will get letters from an outside source. These letters and notes are from a character that we'll call the father, or the author. He is the one who helps you and helps Nico get out of an endless maze at the end of the game. However, the computer, or the world machine as it's called in the game, reveals to the player that when you get to the top of the tower, a choice must be made. If you put the sun back, Nico cannot go home. But if she wants to go home, then she must break the sun, dooming this world for good. The world machine tells the player something, and this to me is what really hit me. The world machine reminds you that this whole point of you being here is to bring Nico home. That is your mission. The world machine wants you to break the light bulb so Nico can go home. Then you get to the top of the tower and you are given the most difficult choice throughout the whole game. Oh no! I don't know! Okay. They're both good, but I don't know what to think. Okay. Here's the thing. Nico is basically a child. She wants to go home. See her mother again. But the only way she can do that is by shattering that light bulb. And when that happens, this whole world is gone. But the right choice would be to save it. To give this world hope. Do you save the world? Or do you save Nico? This choice within the game is one of the hardest choices to make in any game I've ever played. If you save the world, you save everyone. But for how long? Did you even save it fully? Did the world just stop dying? And what if the sun does nothing in the end? Did we even save the world? And if the world is still dying, what happens to Nico? Or does Nico break the sun and doom the world, but is able to go back home? Everyone you meet and everyone you and Nico talk to will be gone just like that. Whatever the choice is, you only got one single shot. Which choice is the right choice? For me, I chose to save the world. And even if Nico does not get to go home, this to me is the right choice. At least for me. Then we are shown the sun glowing and everyone we meet and help to look up at the start of a new beginning. And we can only hope that the world is fully saved and will start to recover. Then we are shown an empty room, the same room from the start of the game, the sun glimmering through the window and lighting the room up a little. But Nico is nowhere to be seen. There's nothing else to do. You close the game, and when you reopen it, you're back in the same room. You only had one shot. And that's it. You sit there, not sure how to feel. You wish that you could have saved the world and get Nico home, but you can't. If you do a little digging though, you can fire the game back up and go for another playthrough. You basically break the restriction of the game, giving you a one-time playthrough kind of deal. Nico wakes up and calls your name, but stops, not knowing how she knows your name, or even who you are, until she's told again by ProfitBot. As you play again, Nico starts to recall things. Then, for a while, you could play the game over and over again. Maybe get the other endings, maybe try to find any secrets you missed. Over and over and over again. You, yes you, put Nico in an endless loop. The endings are the same. The people change a little, and yet, even when you get both endings, you're not fully satisfied. Every time you beat the game, every time you tell Nico to break or place the light bulb, the endings are the same. Only different faces of a coin. And yet, Nico is brought right back to the house at the start of the game. And the world is like it was at the start. Your choices never mattered at the end, because you and Nico get sent right back to the start of the game to do this all over again and again and again. Nico never gets to see if the world is saved once she places the sun back in. She never gets to see her mama again if she breaks it, because in the end, she's brought back to do it all over again. You can't say both. You never could. You could never save both the world and Nico. March 28th, 2017, a year after OneShot was released, a new ending was added that answered many mysteries and gave Nico and the player a real happy ending, though a little bit bittersweet. This part of the video is going to be short as, frankly, I just can't talk about it, because it's something that you can't spoil for anyone who's going to play the game or think about playing the game. But I will say this, Solstice made me cry. No joke. I was streaming this game, and at the end, I cut my stream short at the end as I began to tear up. And after I turned my camera off, I just cried. The only other game that has ever made me cry was the ending of Red Dead Redemption 2. A game that was made by a AAA studio, yet this little indie game made a grown man cry. Solstice introduces to us 3 new characters, new areas, and a much deeper story. One you will need to discover for yourself. As, again, I can't talk about it. The ending is so good, and the story leading up to it is one of the best storytellings I've ever played. So I'm not going to spoil it here. If you are interested in OneShot though, but don't want to buy the game, please, I really highly suggest you go see Cello Chicha's videos on both versions of OneShot, being a normal playthrough and the Solstice playthrough, largely because of the dub. And if you just don't want to buy a game, just watch those two and there you go. But you'll know what I'm talking about. If it was not for the recommendation of a subscriber of mine asking me to play this game, I might not have ever even heard of it. Funny enough, I first saw Nico in the amazing Indie Cross episode 2, which, I mean, if the devs saw that, they must be beyond happy. I love this game so much, and I really wish that more people knew of this game and more people talked about it. The fun puzzles and the simple but deep story, lovable characters, Nico being just adorable and a fun main character, with the added feel of her just being from another world than a video game character. Nico is the real star of the game, and it shows. The music also just carries this game's mood. Each time I'm in Glean, I just love the song that's being played. It just matches the area so well. Now then, Does OneShot need a sequel? No. Much like Undertale, it came out as a masterpiece. When Deltarune came out, yes, it felt like Undertale, and yes, it is really good, but it's just not as good as Undertale itself. And in the case of OneShot, it ended perfectly, and I don't think there should be another OneShot. People have made mods of OneShot, sure. For the official devs though, please, if you're watching this video, which I highly doubt, please don't make another OneShot. It is a timeless work of both art and storytelling. I do wish they would make another game like OneShot, just not linking it to OneShot's world itself. But if they do, make it so that the whole story is different and we play as a new character. But again, I don't think we need another OneShot. This game, to me, is a must-play and one I will hold close to my heart for a very long time. Thank you all for watching, and please go check out Celuchita and support her and the other voice actors. And I will also thank her for letting me use some parts of her OneShot dub. But hey, you know what? I think my favorite part of OneShot has to be the fourth wall breaks. If only I knew what that would be like in a horror atmosphere. Luckily, I don't know any game that does that, right? Shit.